In a spiritual environment like this, sensitivity is paramount. So many things can happen, and if you are not sensitive, you would miss it. Only one woman was so sensitive that while other people were moving around Jesus, she understood the implication of touching him. She did not say, let me allow him speak to my life, or let him touch me. She said, no, let me be the one to touch him, and if by any means I touch him, I know that this fountain of blood will cease. For 12 good years, the fountain of her blood continued. Imagine a woman having her period every day for 12 years. I would just think, how many times in our modern world will she be transfused? Blood will be poured into her. But I wonder how much and how she was able to survive all through those times. Sometimes I wonder the kind of pain she suffered. And you know, because this thing was consistent, she might have come to a place where she was smelling. But yet, in her sickness, she knew that if I could touch. The first thing the Lord said I should let us know is that in a spiritual environment, be sensitive to what happens in that environment. If you're not sensitive to what happens around that environment, God can be touching so many people and then you will miss it. The reason is that you are not sensitive. There are ways by which men receive from a spiritual environment. You see, your mouth is very important. Your mouth, very, very important. Tell your neighbor your mouth is very important. Tell him your voice, very important. Do not keep silent in a spiritual atmosphere. No. Do not keep silent. The Lord looked at the people of Israel, and when he looked at Moses, he told him, I have heard the cry of my people. So until they cried, God kept mute. But when they cried, God responded. So when you come into a spiritual environment, your voice is very important. Your voice, very important. The way you respond to things, very important. The way things happen physically, they are not the way things happen spiritually. No. Because it's in another realm. You need to leap to that level so that you can receive what had been given you in that realm. The man Naaman was told, go to the river Jordan and bathe yourself 7 times. 7 good times. The prophet did not tell him, go and get the water and go home and bathe in the house. Do not go and bathe where no one will see you. Told him, bathe in the river there, in the presence of all of your servants. Could you imagine for that man the disgrace for him? But that was where his solution was. The man was angry. The man wanted to leave, but his servant told him, see, this is a prophetic instruction. And because it's a prophetic instruction, if you decide not to obey it, this leprosy will remain. And the man bathed the first time, the second, and until the 7th, the leprosy was still there, as fresh as it was. Until the 7th time, that was when every trace of leprosy left the man. That the river was stirred doesn't mean that everyone will be healed. No. That you come into a spiritual atmosphere and you are seeing the river being stirred doesn't mean that you will be healed. Doesn't mean that you will receive of what the Lord has for you. No. You still need to enter into that river. What did that man tell Jesus? For 38 years, I have witnessed this river being stirred. This pool had been stirred for 38 good years. And with my eyes, I have seen it happen. But as much as it was happening, I have never partook of anything that happened in that place. There was a point in time where you need to move into that river. And unless you move into that river, you will not receive of what the Lord has packaged for you. Prophetic words might be going on. If you sit, there are some of them you need to stand up and say, Amen. And just as you have screamed Amen, you stood, you have received of it. But if you are there just quiet, what are they even saying? And you are relaxed, you have just missed it. I don't know if I'm making sense this morning. I know you are pious. I know it's an Anglican church. You are pious and you want to be pious. But be sensitive to receive things of the Spirit. And I'm teaching you how to receive spiritual things. If the sermon hits you, stop at a point. Start praying. If the Lord opens your eyes to something, stop. Start praying till you are sure. You have an assurance that you have received of that thing. If you are told, stand. Tell people congratulations. Greet people. Move out at that point in time and do those things. They are prophetic instructions. They are prophetic instructions, and prophetic instructions are meant to take you high, except you do not subscribe to it. But if you subscribe to it, definitely you will come up that height. And so can you move and greet 7 people? Tell them, today is your day.